I love our bro.
Me too.
Yeah.
My eardrum.
You people.
I'm just saying. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Nastasia.
Me here. Just me. You all know. I'm husband. This is wife. And together we are one.
Oh, possibly the worst thing. Today, fitting, we are doing a Q&A, relationship marriage type Q&A. I mean, really it is any kind of Q&A, but it's mostly marriage and relationship questions.
Really?
So that's, yep.
Oh, I thought it was just a straight up Q&A.
So, guys on Instagram for some questions. And most likely this video is going to be really long because there's a ton of questions. So this is going to be part 1 for you guys here on YouTube. And then part 2 is going to be exclusive to my Patreon. So anybody can join Patreon if you want to. There's 3 different levels, $3, $5, and $15 a month. And you get exclusive content all month. The link is down below if you want to check it out to see like more details about that. But yeah, part 2 will be on there. So if I don't answer your question in this video, it's probably going to be in that one. So if you end up liking this video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on a video every time I post. My Instagram is on top of Kai's face, ding, where you can see the behind the scenes of my life. And if you ever feel led, if you feel like the Lord's ever leading you to donate to my ministry, my Generosity Rocks link is down below. So let's get into the video. I'm just gonna get right into it because there's a lot of questions. So the first one, what advice do you have? Oh, by the way, Kai, we're gonna try to keep these as short as we can,
minimal.
because if not, we'll get through like 2.
And then we'll be here for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Which is great for me, but I don't know if they'd like it for 5 hours.
No one. So, first question. What advice do you have for engagement, especially managing friendships with people who aren't in the same stage of life? So...
That's a mouthful. Say it again.
Oh my gosh. What advice would you give somebody who they're engaged and a lot of their friends are not in that same season? Like, they're not engaged. I've dealt with this a lot, like, as a girl. You don't really have friends. So
maybe that's why I don't get the question.
You had this one then.
Oh, I get it. So basically...
Friends! Oh! I get friends. Okay, go ahead.
No, I don't have any advice.
I
just get the question.
Oh?
Like,
no, this is
look,
so
I'm
bad.
sorry, guys.
So, since I've dealt with this a little bit more, I would say it is kind of hard, especially when there's people who they really want to be in a relationship or be married or whatever, and you are and they're not. It can be really sensitive. I would say try to make like as much time as you can. Like, don't neglect your fiance by any means, but like if you have time to like go out with them just one-on-one, your friend, and just hang out with them and not bring up anything about the wedding or anything. And if they're like, how's the wedding? You know, just be like, you know what, let's just talk about you. Like let's talk about life, like, you know, and take it kind of off that subject. Not that it isn't important, but just to remind them that you love them.
And that
still.
they're
still important, yeah. They're still important to you. But I understand it can be really difficult, but advice for engagement overall, I would say, like, that could be a whole video of its own, but my one thing that I think
we've done a little bit of stuff on
that,
but
I would say if there's one thing I could say, of course we would say make sure your relationship with the Lord is the strongest it can be, but I would also say this is something we did in premarital counseling. They told us make sure your fiance knows everything about you that they can know, that there's nothing you're keeping from them at all. If there's any secret, if there's anything you're uncomfortable telling them, anything, tell them.
Literally 100%, not 99.9, or not even things you're like, oh well, that was when I was like 20 years ago when I was in my past, or like literally everything you can think of.
And I would say if you're married right now and that didn't happen when you were engaged, it's not too late. You should tell your spouse everything. Anything you've gone through, any secret, anything that's happened to you, whatever. If you're hiding it from them, especially if it does involve them in some way, you should tell them.
And whether you know it or not, it's affecting your marriage.
Yeah, so that's what I would say. Make sure you tell them everything. All right, next question. What is your favorite stage of marriage so far? So we're pretty newly married.
Everyone.
So
every stage is the best stage.
People would probably still say we're newlyweds because we've been married like 7.5 months-ish now. 7 months? Something like that. And
once we go over past 6 months, I just say a year.
Which is not correct. But I would say, honestly, like, this sounds so dumb, but like right now is my favorite stage because I feel like we've gone through any of the like, I wouldn't even say they were growing pains of getting into marriage, but like you just adjust to so much, and now I feel like we're in a stride where we are absolutely obsessed with hanging out with each other.
Running. I gotta be more serious.
You gotta calm down, man.
I just get so excited about these videos.
All of it.
I said the next stage. The next stage is the most fun stage.
Yeah. You should always be, wanting your marriage to grow. Okay, this one is a serious question. Advice for a girl who has previously been sexually active but is now practicing purity. Advice.
You're doing great.
It can be hard. Don't let people try to tell you that it's not worth it or that it's too late, because that is not true at all.
Don't listen to the haters. I know it's cliche to say.
Don't listen to the haters.
Yeah, no,
the most cliche.
Yeah, but seriously, like, there's gonna be a lot of judgment because they're like, it convicts other people, even if they're not Christians. They're like, well, why would you live this way for so long? Why are you just now doing that?
People saying like, what's the point?
It's an opportunity to spread Jesus, which is actually a beautiful thing because there's a redemption there, but it's also gonna tickle some people's feathers.
That's not. Take 2 of that. Ruffle people's feathers. Try again. It's going to.
What? It's going to ruffle people's feathers. Why are you laughing?
Tickle, tickle, tickle your feathers. It's not the phrase.
But it's my phrase. It's my phrase.
You are doing great, and it can be really, really hard. And the right man will really respect you making that decision. I have a lot of friends who that was the decision they've made. Like they were sexually active and then they decided, to turn from that and practice purity, and they are so happy they did.
Get in a life group as well. Like with the group of girls.
Some accountability.
Not just accountability, but it's more than that. Like it's more about, like, let's say you don't even struggle with, you're just going in and you're just doing great. And you don't struggle. There's a realness that happens where it's like that you just can communicate with other women. Like we need each other. And whether you're struggling or not, there's going to be a time when you will struggle. Just having that community. Yeah. Just community. Yeah.
All right, next question. This one we can probably keep pretty short. How do you handle finances as a married couple? We currently do.
Awesome. You said short.
We technically have separate bank accounts, but it's not even because we want them separate.
It's kind of hilarious.
It's literally, it's because we're lazy.
No, it's not. We're not lazy.
I'm lazy.
It's complicated.
We don't keep anything from each other financially. We literally ask each other every single time, like, can I do this? Can I add? Like, not because we're seeking approval, but just because it's respectful. It's our money.
Yeah.
It's not one or the other's.
Or it's more just like letting each other know, like, hey,
yeah,
I spent this, just so you know, so you can keep up with numbers and stuff like that too.
Were there different views / upbringings on Christian life, aka like specifics with Sabbath, baptism, and communion is what they were saying. With those 3 things, no. There was nothing. We both believe the same things about communion, baptism, and Sabbath.
Yeah, pretty much just sturdy doctrines.
I will say, okay, this was different. Growing up, I was raised more on the Arminian side. If you don't know what that means, I'm not getting into it. I was raised more on the Arminian side of things. And now I am definitely more of, I would classify as like Reformed Baptist. That's what he was raised as anyway. And so now it is perfectly fine. But all that to say, I was raised a little bit different. but not anymore. How did you manage to stay pure in dating and now in marriage? Which I don't understand the second part of now in marriage, unless they mean like not cheating on each other. We just don't cheat on each other. That's how we don't do that. But when it comes to dating, we knew where our boundaries were early on.
Yeah.
We communicated them like right away, like
Yeah.
third date. Yeah, I mean, I would say overall just the basic things of like we set boundaries early on. We told each other our boundaries early on, and we had accountability partners as well. Also, we avoided watching anything that was like super sexualized because you don't realize how much impact that has on your mind.
I mean, you should do that anyways, whether
Yeah.
you're dating or not dating.
I totally agree.
So.
Yeah. Okay, this is funny to me. I'll explain in a second. How do you deal with judgment on your age difference?
I've never been judged.
Yeah.
On my age.
So the reason I thought that was funny was because when we first started dating, I was actually insecure that he was 3.5 years younger than me. I was like, everybody's gonna be weird, blah, blah, blah. Not a single person cared. Not a single person cared. And if somebody does care, I don't know about it. But I would say if you are dealing with judgment, what would you say? Like,
know whose you are, and you'll be more confident in who you are.
Yeah, whatever age that is.
Yeah.
Please don't date children if you're an adult. That is the line. But when it comes to like age difference as an adult, I feel like, I mean, there are certain things that I would, I guess, think are kind of weird.
I feel like
but
it's situational, and it also depends on the people 100%.
Yeah, I would say that's true. Kai is really, really mature for his age. I mean, you're just mature in general, but like especially for your age, like 21-year-olds don't usually have the spiritual maturity you do. And that was a huge factor. So.
Well, thank you. It's not me, it's all the Lord.
Yeah. But I'm sorry if you are facing judgment on that, but like, this too. Ask them for scripture evidence of why it's weird. And if they don't have scripture, they don't have scripture. Favorite fall activities you guys like to do together when you dated and now as a couple, which are like married couple.
Ones.
That's what I was gonna say. I think it's pretty much the same.
Fall festivals, bonfires, cocoa, apple cider vinegar.
Cocoa.
I just said ew, apple cider vinegar. No, apple cider, football.
Pumpkin patches.
I already said pumpkin patches.
You said fall festivals, which I guess could have pumpkin patches.
Did I say fall festivals? I meant pumpkin patches.
Yeah.
If whatever, you can cut it.
Football.
What you love throwing the football with me in the fall.
Oh, I like throwing the football.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying watching football.
But yeah, that's basically, I mean, we love doing that stuff together, and but as you guys know, we don't celebrate Halloween, so we don't do anything like that. But other fall fun things, we love doing them. How to remain pure, especially when you both want marriage but can't be married yet. It can be really difficult. Like he said, I think we have a couple more videos on this.
There's a verse on that. The Lord will never put you in a place that you can't escape from sin.
Oh, yeah. I'll put it on the screen. We're definitely paraphrasing, but yeah, there's a verse.
That was not, I know it's not it, but it's something like that, and it's really good.
Like, he will always
it's a reminder,
provide a way away from sin.
That's paraphrasing too, but it's closer. That one's way closer.
But I would say when you can get married, and also evaluate why can't you get married. Like, if it's an age thing, like you're like in high school, I get that. But if it's like because of money or something like that, I would encourage you to pray about it more, because there are verses specifically that say, like, if you are struggling with this, you ought to get married. Like, it is not worth it to struggle. So, I mean, that's why we got engaged after only 6 months. I mean, not the only reason, obviously, but that was part of it, because it just didn't make sense to us if we knew we wanted to get married.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, a lot of people aren't very like, I see it, I'm gonna do it.
Well, she said when you both want marriage. You want to get married and they feel like they can't get married. So that's why I was saying that.
I mean, I really don't, I mean, if it's, God honoring, I don't really see why you don't just do it.
Yeah.
Get married.
The biggest challenge in marriage for you? cooking.
Meal prep.
Literally. Meal prep and cooking. I do not like to cook.
Worst.
I do not. Neither of us like cooking, and it's not a fun time.
Like, and then one of us gets irritated because we're just so done with cooking. And I'm like, why are you irritated? You're like, I don't know.
I'm cooking.
And I'm like, well, let me help you. She's like, you can't.
Okay, it sounds like we scream at we really don't scream at each other.
This is what's happening inside.
If we ever have arguments, it is over meal prepping. It is literally over cooking because neither of us like it, but we have to do it so that we have lunches during the week, and that
or else we'll
I hate
starve.
that. I literally hate that. Okay, something funny / interesting you learned about each other. I'm assuming since we've been married. I think you think I'm funnier than you even expected.
No. I think you're just as funny as I expected. Oh. I knew you were hilarious.
You are perfectly as funny as I calculated you would be. That's exactly what I expected. Okay, the most interesting thing, and this has developed since we've gotten married, Kai has gotten a sweet tooth. Oh my goodness.
What are you talking about?
The amount of chocolate this man
It's healthy. It is healthy. It's organic. It's 60% cocoa.
I'm not saying it isn't.
40% coconut. And it only has like 10 grams of sugar.
He has an entire chocolate bar
cane
per day.
Sugar. It's good for you. It is
I'm gonna get so many haters talking about cane sugar now because of this. Anyway, really? That's the most interesting thing that I didn't expect, like, from you.
Fascinating.
If you don't have anything, we can move on. If I'm not interesting at all to you.
Oh, I did not think she would ever, like, eat eggs.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. I was like, whoa. I know it sounds
hated
basic,
eggs for a really long time.
I'm like, what do you do? She's like, making eggs? I'm like...
I still kind of hate eggs. They still kind of gross me out. I have to buy pasture-raised, organic, all that to, like, gross me out less. But it really helps my hormones heal, so I force myself to eat them. Pet peeves you've realized about the other person. I've said this before, but Kai does this thing where, like, if he is about to take a shower or change his clothes or whatever, he'll take off his shirt and he'll literally, like, a shirt he has worn all day, doing his job, sweating, painting, all this stuff, working out, whatever. He'll take it off, he'll fold it, and then he'll just set it on the couch or the chair or the dresser or a freaking lamp or something, folded, just sitting there. Like Kirk Cameron Left Behind Rapture style, folded clothes on something. And he's just like, and I'm like, what is this? Is this clean? Is this dirty? He's like, I don't remember. And I'm like, what? You put so much effort into folding it and putting it somewhere. Just throw it in the hamper. He still won't.
I try.
It never happens.
But you're just as, well, I mean, we're not going to cast blame or anything. But.
It's okay.
Biggest pet peeve. She leaves dishes literally everywhere. Any kind. Even, like, if she makes a meal, she'll leave everything trashed on the counters, the kitchen, everywhere.
Because I just recovered from the fact that I had to cook just now.
She sits there on the couch for like an hour and doesn't touch it.
Enjoying my meal!
And then it's all crusty and hard, and you're like scrubbing these dishes and it won't go off, like... And then it just gets messy and...
There you have it.
There's 7 cups in our bedroom right now from just going to get water. Use the same cup.
How have you grown in your relationship with the Lord since being married? Do you think you've grown?
I am able to, I feel like I've become a better listener. Instead of a fixer, I've just become trying to be more lowly. I
think for me, we were just talking about this the other day. I think I have, well, there's a lot of ways I feel like we've grown, but one in particular that I've noticed recently is the Lord teaching me that it is not my job to convince people of truth. It is my job.
Which kind of goes back to what I was just saying. It's crazy how they kind of intertwine.
Yeah, but I think I've always felt like there's this moral obligation of like, no, I have to convince them because it'll help them. And it's like, no, when the Lord calls me to say something, that's the calling. It's not the calling to convince them. It's the calling to put the information there and back away, in a way, I guess you could say. Like, it's the Lord's job to open eyes. And so that's been a thing. Also, we went through a lot of financial craziness not our fault, just circumstances throughout the very beginning of our marriage. And I think it just really taught us to be grateful for what the Lord has given us in every season.
Yeah, I'd agree.
This is such an open-ended question that I think maybe just pick one way. How does Kai lead you? So maybe just give
that's a question for you, not even me. My hand off my shoulders.
So how do you? Okay, how do I feel like
you?
I guess that's true. Yeah, because Kai leads me without getting this too long.
Sorry.
Well, one, he loves me very, very well. I think that is one of the most important things. He loves me as I feel like Christ loves the church. And then, and also he keeps me accountable when it comes to like, he's like, have you been in your word lately? Have you been in your word today? Have, you know, like
but
not in
do a good way of that too. We both.
Yeah, we do. But I'm just like, I appreciate that. And he never does it in a mean way ever. It's always to encourage me. And, also, I always know he has my back. I never ever have to feel like I'm out on my own. Like if something happened, he would step in front of me, like figuratively and physically, like, and he would say like, come at me, you know, at him. I mean, like he is such a protector in that way that I know I am never alone, like standing. So I would say that's like a big thing for me. There's lots of ways though. Those are just a couple. Do you have your Jesus time together or separate now that you're married? And another question said, do you study the Bible together or on your own?
Both.
Yeah, we do it both. Yeah.
I will say I mean, this goes season to season, but like my quiet times have been more compact, but more frequent instead of longer and less frequent, if that makes sense.
And you're hoping in this,
seasons change.
We're hoping to be entering a new kind of season soon. More to come. All that being said, I'm not pregnant. All that being said, where you would have more time to be able to have more like longer sessions, but like you said, they've been a little more compact. And but we talk about the Bible to each other all the time, like what we've been studying or whatever. Sometimes we'll read the same passages or read at the same time next to each other, but different passages. It really is like we talk about, I'm not just trying to say this, we talk about the Bible and we talk about Jesus and we talk about those like scripture like constantly to each other. So it is on our own and together. This one is very specific. How do you overcome anxiety when people are counting on you to complete a hard task? I feel like that might land more on me since I have anxiety. I feel like I'm answering all the questions. Do you want to answer this?
No, it's okay.
Okay. I would say, well, we both do struggle with the idea of letting somebody down. That is a struggle for us. You have to remember that you are, like, this sounds kind of silly, but you are not God, and you're going to let people down, and you are fallen. Do the best you can, and just pray about it seriously, and ask the Lord for help. And just literally, just do the best you can. And whatever happens will happen, you know, and you can't, like...
Don't put it on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Put it on God's hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's fun. You're gonna have fun with this.
No.
What's something you want to do differently with your kids than your parents did with you? I don't say that in a weird way. My mom was amazing, and his parents are amazing. Yeah,
my parents are amazing.
Like, it's not anything like that. It's more of just, like, that's a fun question. I want to do my, the birth of our children differently, if we're able to, just because I've learned a lot about birth and, the business of birth, I guess you could say, and that I just, I have a desire for that, and I wasn't homeschooled, and honestly, I get why. I honestly wasn't in the position really to be homeschooled when I was being raised, so that is not anybody's fault, but I want to homeschool our children. My upbringing was just, circumstantially, it was very different. And that wasn't my mom's fault. It was just very different than our situation is going to be. And so there's a lot of things that just will be different, you know?
Yeah.
But my mom still raised me to absolutely love the Lord and everything like that. And your parents obviously raised you to love the Lord. They did homeschool Kai. So, I mean, is there anything specifically for you?
I'm trying to think of some things. I know there are things out there like that I would do differently, but on the top of my head, I don't have it.
Because they're not like big, huge things. Like
they're not big, huge things. They're just kind of like you know, different traditions. Like like we have. Should we tell them what our Christmas tradition that we want to do?
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, go ahead.
Like we have a Christmas tradition that we want to do that I didn't have before, but like each ornament we have is going to have a purpose to just
for the Bible, to represent a biblical story.
If it was Moses, right, we would get something with like water that would represent.
Yeah, or a staff,
right?
with something
with a verse on it or something.
Yeah,
or a staff, just whatever it be, just
like we want our Christmas
different parts
tree
of the Bible and
to represent the entire gospel of the Lord, and that's just something we want to do. Neither of our parents did that. We literally just the other night were like, that'd be cool. We should do that. So
just stuff like that. I mean, just minor.
Your favorite quality about each other? I mean, other than obviously we love the Lord. That's kind of shoo-in.
Her humor, her nose, her personality.
This kid does love my nose. I don't understand.
Okay, maybe your face. Should I say that? Is that better?
No, I'm keeping the nose part.
Okay.
But that's staying. Okay. My favorite quality about Kai is that this is so cheesy compared to yours, but like he has never ever made me feel unloved ever since the moment we literally met.
Why is that cheesy?
Because yours is like cute and funny.
That is more deep than mine. I was like your personality, your humor, your thoughtfulness.
Anyway,
your cute nose.
Mine is like I've literally never ever felt unsafe with Kai ever when it comes to like my feelings. I never felt like I was too much or too little, and that is my favorite quality because I never have to be afraid of like the personality that the Lord gave me, I never have to be afraid to show that, and that is my favorite quality. Do you have name ideas for your future kids?
Yes.
Yeah, we already have what we think are going to be our first boy and girl names. We already have them. Not middle names, but first names. How do I deal with Christian parents that don't want us to get married young? We have strong opinions.
Strong opinions that we have to shed lightly.
Tread lightly, yeah. Kai especially.
Shed lightly. Oh,
Kai especially has strong opinions, but no, I do too. Okay, your parents aren't gonna like me for saying this, but like, especially if you're adults, like especially if you're at least 18, like, you're adults. If they don't have scripturally a reason to protest against the marriage, then they don't have a reason to protest against the marriage. Now, if he's not a spiritual leader, if one of you does not have a relationship with Jesus, those are all grounds to not get married, right? The thing is, all things being said, even if they mean the best for you and wanting you to wait to get married, if they don't have scriptural reason for it, and you guys want to get married and you feel like the Lord's calling you to get married, I think you should get married. Personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not your family, so I don't get to rule the day, but I'm just saying that's my opinion.
I I also get scriptures like, honor your father and mother. That's the first commandment. It doesn't give an age on it. But again, this doesn't go against scripture. Scripture says to get married. So that kind of like, it's like, you gotta kind of ask the Lord for discernment.
I agree.
And like looking back, I wish I would have just gotten married. But at the same time, you don't know what the effects would have happened if we just get married.
Right, you have no idea.
So I think that could have been the Lord just protecting us.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree, but at the same time, even with honor your father and mother, that is given with the idea that your father and mother are honoring the Lord. So
don't get me wrong, I still think you should just get married.
So if they don't have scriptural evidence, if they're just like, well, I don't want to lose my little girl yet, or something like that, that's not a good enough reason. It's not.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. But that being said, this is a long video. we're going to cut it here. This is part 1. Part 2 is immediately available on Patreon right now. If you want to go over there, it's just exclusive to Patreon. So the link is down below if you want to become one of my Patreon friends. If you do, thank you so much. It directly impacts our life, and we genuinely, truly are so grateful if you can. If you can't, I understand. But that's where part 2 will be. What are you doing?
So nice.
All right, I love you guys. And I will see you next time.